He's giving a project number 1 from his professional speaking manual, Keynote Addresses. Objects is to identify the basic difference between keynote speeches and other kinds of speeches. It's to develop the style and deliver effectively to inspire and move the audience to adapt your views, to adopt your views, and to collectively reaffirm his own. As a Toastmaster, his audience, we're obviously interested in self-improvement. On the surface, the process can seem daunting, but like anything in life, it's a journey, a process. Our speaker this morning is on a journey of his self-improvement, and he recognizes the opportunity we have within Toastmasters. For decades, Toastmasters was recommended to him, and last year, he finally visited a club. Today, he serves as VP of Education for the Saddleback Sunrise Speakers Group, as well as the area governor for our own G1 area. He is a regular contributor to the Founders District Speakers Bureau, and he's a member of the National Speakers Association, serving on the board of the Greater Los Angeles chapter. Please welcome Kevin Graham as he delivers his speech entitled Opportunity Knocks. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Graham.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't know about you, but I get excited on my journey toward becoming a successful speaker. Imagine yourself beaming with confidence and well prepared as you're about to step out on stage before thousands. You've honed your craft, you know your message, and you're intimate with the audience. Great speakers often look so natural, don't they? It's as if everything comes so easily for them. But we at Toastmasters know that's not the case. For each week we make mistakes and embarrass ourselves in front of others, all in the quest to develop our speaking skills. This morning, I want to speak to you about the opportunity at hand by talking about speaking, Toastmasters, and then finally, I hope to challenge you to work at the edge. If you've discovered Toastmasters, you've found the world's leading program to develop your thinking, listening, and speaking skills. But are these so-called soft skills important in today's world? More than ever. Your ability to connect and engage with those around you through effective listening, thinking, and speaking is critical to success on your journey. But why is it that effective speaking is so important in our day-to-day lives? Well, think about the times when you're forced into conversation. Whether it be the surprise by the executive that walks onto the elevator, the neighbor in the street, or the hiring manager stumping you with questions during the job interview, it's not a time for the faint of heart. It's as if someone stuck a microphone in your face and said, "Caller 4, you're on the air. Go ahead, caller 4. You're darn right you better get good at speaking. And Toastmasters is an excellent place to do it. Those instances would be known as speaking extemporaneously, meaning without preparation. Also known as impromptu speaking. The world-class Toastmaster curriculum addresses this as a priority in every meeting. In fact, one of the common aims of any Toastmasters meeting is to ensure that every attendee gets an opportunity to speak. The scheduled speeches are the meat of the agenda, but table topics is the treadmill that helps us to maintain our speaking fitness and form. So how do we get there? We get there by standing on the shoulders of giants. That's an expression that dates back 1,000 years and attempts to give credit to those that have gone before us. Without the likes of Dr. Ralph Schmedley, the founder of Toastmasters, we wouldn't have the opportunity that we have today. Without the likes of Scott Shire and your leadership team, you wouldn't have this club that you enjoy today. We stand on their shoulders as we develop our skill sets. But it doesn't just take practice. It takes deliberate practice. Someone once shouted to Kobe Bryant, "Kobe, I'd give anything to have your game." Kobe snapped. "You'd give anything to have my game? Would you get up every morning at 6 o'clock and dribble the ball for 2 hours, all with your weaker hand? Would you then do 2 hours of cardio and weight training? Would you spend your afternoons looking at endless film of your competition? And then would you shoot 500 baskets every single day? You'd do anything to have my game? I don't think so. Very few people in the world work as hard as I do. I'm not a natural. It takes practice. Not just practice, it takes deliberate practice. It really does take deliberate practice. When I first walked into Toastmasters a year or so ago, I barely had the energy and confidence to come to the front of the room. The program, the curriculum, the communications track, and the leadership track are phenomenal tools to help you develop your skill sets. Every time we go out and deliver a quality presentation, it's a testament to the power of Toastmasters. Well, let's look briefly at the components of good public speaking. At the core, if you want to give a good talk, it's all about 3 things: preparation, preparation, and preparation. If you want the talk to be compelling, then the topic should be timely and relevant. If you want it to be memorable, then it should be funny. Someone once said, "You don't have to be funny, only if you want to get paid." I want you to consider 3 areas: content, delivery, and the audience. Expert speakers, those that are deeply knowledgeable on their topic, focus on content. New or egocentric speakers focus on delivery. And that final rare breed focuses on the audience. One classic speech structure is tell a story, make a point. Tell a story, make a point. This summer, I attended the National Speakers Association convention in Anaheim. Some of the most preeminent speakers you'll find anywhere. Glenna Salisbury, Hall of Fame speaker, talked about how she structures her speech with point, story, and application. And she would take 3 colored highlighters and go through her speech draft and highlight green for point, yellow for color, and red for application. And then she'd look back and reflect on it. If there wasn't a good balance of the colors, she would go back and redraft it to ensure it had good balance between point, story, and application. Another Hall of Fame speaker, Lou Heckler, says that if the more personal your story, the more universal it applies. The more personal your story, the more universally it applies to everyone else in the audience. Glenna Salisbury, one of the things she says is that if someone else can give your talk, then you're not speaking your truth. If someone else can give your talk, then you're not speaking your truth. And she went on to talk about authenticity and how you should mine your life's history for stories from life's significant events and speak to those moments. And it really coincides with what Lou Heckler says about the more personal your story, the more universally it applies to other people. At my firm, Empowered Sales Training, we do our best to weave the customer's strategic objectives, their cultural values, and their points of emphasis into our presentation. And then we try to pepper that with stories to help it make it memorable and of high value. And as for the audience, the power of customer intimacy, whether it's in sales or speaking, if you bear hug the customer, they'll not only tell you what the winning hand needs to be, They'll tell you when to play which cards. And so if you research a question or survey your audience enough in advance, you'll be intimate enough to know exactly what you should be speaking about to make the topic compelling, high value, and memorable. And what about notes? No, notes are great, but if you're so focused on memorizing your speech, then you're not in touch with your audience. I'd rather experience a speaker who occasionally looks at notes than one that's so focused on just getting through their speech and memorizing it and keeping it in pace that they forget the people are even in the room. And that's something I get from Darren LaCroix, phenomenal speaker. And yes, world champion of public speaking. The audience should be your focus. Who cares if you occasionally look at notes? So how does all of this relate to your club? At the core of any Toastmasters club is the individual member. In fact, that is the #1 goal of any of your club officers, to ensure that the needs of the individual members are being met. Toastmasters created the Distinguished Club Program to provide a roadmap to help ensure that members have success on their journey. Your club achieved President's Distinguished Club status last year, and that's fantastic. You should give yourselves credit. Very few clubs get to that level. Please raise your hand if you achieved individually an educational award last year. Thank you. Congratulations. You're a big part of the reason why your club achieved President's Distinguished Club status. Now raise your hand if this year, by the end of June, you'll achieve an educational award. That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well done. That's fantastic. That's important. That will get you to where you want to be. As your area governor, I hope and pray that you get President's Distinguished Club status, because that'll help spell success for our area. I want to challenge each of you to obtain at least one educational goal each year, because that's what allows your club to grow and thrive. As members, we took a pledge, the Toastmasters Promise. And I know you talk about that in this club, and I think it's fantastic. I want you to help me for a moment. I'm going to give each of you one of these. We're going to start over here. There's 10 pieces to the Toastmasters Promise. So I guess I won't give each of you one of these. And guests, I know you're not members, so you haven't made this promise yet. So if you don't want to read it, you don't need to. You're always welcome. Sorry, there aren't enough elements to the Toastmasters Promise for everybody in the room. But guests, if you don't want to, you're welcome to pass it on to someone else. But I want to go around and just read them quickly, because we've only got so much time here. But before we do, I want to challenge you something. I don't know if any of you, well, let's start this way. This last week, we lost a great American innovator, didn't we, in Steve Jobs. I don't know if any of you ever saw or heard his speech, the commencement speech he gave at Stanford a few years ago. It's on YouTube. I'd encourage you to go check it out. It's phenomenal. One of the things he talks about in that speech is how motivating the anticipation of death can be. Because by that time, he had gone through an experience where he felt like he didn't have much time left on this earth. So I want to challenge you, as you're reading each of those, to read it with a passion and conviction, as if your time on this earth is limited. Because, by the way, I think we'd all agree that our time on earth is limited. So go ahead, Quinn, please get it started. Please.
#1, to attend club meetings regularly.
#2, to prepare all of my speech and leadership projects to the best of my ability, basing them on projects in the Competent Communication, Advanced Communication, or Competent Leadership manuals.
#3, to prepare for and fulfill meeting assignments.
And #4, to provide fellow members with helpful, constructive evaluations.
5, to to help the club maintain positive, friendly environment necessary for all members to learn and grow.
Number 6, to serve the club as an officer when called upon to do so.
Number 7, to treat my fellow club members and our guests with respect and courtesy.
Number 8, to bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmaster membership offers.
Number 9, to adhere to the guidelines and rules of the Toastmasters educational and recognition programs.
Last but not least, number 10, to maintain honest and highly ethical standards during the conduct of all Toastmasters activities.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. I appreciate that. There's one of them I want to focus on, and that's number 8. Could you repeat number 8, please?
To bring guests to club meetings so they can see the benefits Toastmasters memberships offers.
Excellent, excellent. You have an amazing club. I want to challenge you with number 8. It's so important. You're getting, I hope, value from your experience in this club. You probably are, you wouldn't be coming back. Don't your friends, family, and coworkers deserve the same opportunity? Share it with them. This morning, I want to challenge you to work at the edge. What does it mean to work at the edge? It's actually a common saying in yoga. Now, I really don't do yoga, but I do stretch regularly. And I believe that a flexible body is the sign of a flexible mind. When you stretch, it really doesn't do much good to only reach to your current capacity, does it? That's not exactly stretching, is it? The edge is the place just before pain. You've got to get to the edge if indeed you're going to stretch. And so it is with life. I want to challenge you to work at the edge by making 3 key points. 1, balance is bogus. 2, time is not money. And 3, there's no such thing as staying the same. Balance is bogus. Some people strive for balance in life, equal parts work, play, house, kids, car, yada, yada, yada. I agree that balance is something you can strive for, but is it really something you want all the time? In the powerful book, Harmonic Wealth, the author shares how true balance is like death. It's like 2 scales of equal weight. They both just hang there lifelessly. I prefer to think of life like a jazz band. Jazz is wonderful because there is harmony, but there are also countless times where each instrument will go off on its own journey. And so it is with life. At times, you may be ultra focused on your business because time's demanded, while the rest of the year, your family may be your priority. Or perhaps it's your house or your car that requires an extra dose of love. Or maybe your Toastmasters club. Balance is bogus. Strive for harmony. Number 2, time is not money. The old adage that time is money is insanity. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. You can replace money 1,000 times. You can never replace time. I don't know if you remember the movie Shawshank Redemption. What a quality film, highlighting a man's journey through a bogus prison sentence. The star, Tim Robbins, played a character by the name of Andy Dufresne. After struggling through several hundred yards of raw sewage, he stood in this glorious stench of freedom as he lifted his head to the rain. Earlier in that movie, he had a great line. Well, I guess it comes down to a simple choice. Either get busy living or get busy dying. Get busy living or get busy dying. Time is infinitely more valuable than money. And number 3, there's no such thing as staying the same. It's true. You're either striving to improve or you're allowing yourself to get worse. There's no such thing as staying the same. Some folks come into Toastmasters and race through the manual. I love these guys. Obsessive, compulsive. Some people throw those words around like it's some kind of disorder. Obsessive, compulsive. To me, that's nothing more than focus and motivation. I want to challenge you to work at the edge, to continue developing your skills. Now, I know what some of you may be thinking. You may be thinking, okay, I get it, work at the edge, but let me get this problem solved or that problem solved or get this part of my life organized and I'll be good to go. I can work at the edge. Did you know that studies show in just about any group If all the people could take their individual problems and throw them into a pile in the middle of a room, odds are 3 to 1 that you'd gladly take your own problems over someone else's. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't wait for things to be perfect in your life. You get out of life what you put into it. So don't wish for an easy life. Wish to live at your finest. Now, I'm not going to end this speech by standing here and proclaiming that starting today, you can learn to work at the edge. No. I'm going to stand here and say that starting today, you really can learn to work at the edge. You've got an amazing club. You stand on the shoulders of giants, Ralph Smedley and others that have gone before you. Be the giant for a future member. Work at the edge and spread the word. Toastmasters is a world-class program, but only to the degree that you maintain the Toastmasters promise. Opportunity knocks, and I hope that you answer the call.
Thank you very much. Very motivating, very powerful. It's not a disorder. Focused and motivating. This is what we aspire to be as members of this OC Toasters Club. And I feel very empowered and very privileged to have witnessed such a speech as yours. And I look forward to being able to present one such as this one day. Wasn't that a very motivating speech, everyone?
Yes.
This is our area governor. This is the one who leads our area. All our presidents report to him and make sure that we're on course. And so I think it's due. He's given much credit to our president, but I also think that he's due much. What's the word I'm looking for? Accolades are due to him regarding this, because without you being in order, without you pushing forward.